Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. The director of the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention announced Thursday that people vaccinated against COVID-19 do not need to wear masks or practice social distancing indoors or outdoors, except under certain circumstances.
Today, CDC is updating our guidance for fully vaccinated people. Anyone who is fully vaccinated can participate in indoor and outdoor activities, large or small, without wearing a mask or physical distancing. If you are fully vaccinated, you can start doing the things that you had stopped doing because of the pandemic. We have all longed for this moment when we can get back to some sense of normalcy.
The announcement had a few caveats. The director warned that people who are immune compromised should speak with their doctors before giving up their mask.
If you are immune compromised, you will most definitely want to talk to your doctor before giving up your mask. Also, locations such as healthcare facilities will continue to follow their specific infection control recommendations. And lastly, this past year has shown us that this virus can be unpredictable. So if things get worse, there is always a chance we may need to make change to these recommendations. But we know that the more people are vaccinated, the less cases we will have and the less chance of a new spike or additional variants emerging.
The CDC director says the science is clear too for unvaccinated people.
You remain at risk of mild or severe illness, of death, or of spreading the disease to others. You should still mask and you should get vaccinated right away. This is an exciting and powerful moment. It could only happen because of the work of so many who made sure we had the rapid administration of 3 safe and effective vaccines.
The CDC says once someone is fully vaccinated, 2 weeks after the final dose, they can shed the mask. Of course, these regulations apply to the U.S. Some member properties of the Antigua and Barbuda Hotels and Tourism Association, ABHTA, have taken the hard decision not to employ unvaccinated people who apply to work in the industry. The ABHTA executive chairman says difficult decisions have had to be taken in order to safeguard current inoculated staff as well as incoming visitors from COVID-19. He says the association continues to encourage the more than 45% of current staff who are yet to be vaccinated to do so. He says the success of the industry depends on visitors' perception of the safety of the destination. In news further afield, the U.S. state of Ohio will award cash prizes of $1 million to 5 recipients of COVID-19 vaccines as part of a lottery launched to boost flagging uptake of jabs. Arguments for incentivizing vaccinations have been made right here in St. Lucia by Independent Senator Adrian Ogier. Ohio's governor said only adult residents who had a vaccine would be eligible for the draw. The first of 5 weekly draws will be announced on the 26th of May. The lottery would be paid for by the coronavirus relief funds from the federal government. The U.S. has given 58.7% of its adult population jabs against the disease. U.S. President Joe Biden has set his administration the goal of vaccinating 70% of adults by the 4th of July, American Independence Day. However, for weeks now, the number of vaccines administered has been in decline nationwide. Health officials have attributed this to hesitancy among some Americans. To convince the undecided, eye-catching giveaways including beer, donuts, tickets to sporting events, and cash prizes are being offered in different parts of the country. A new vaccination strategy is being undertaken by the Ministry of Health to accelerate the inoculation of residents right here in St. Lucia. A mobile COVID-19 vaccination campaign was launched on Thursday to augment the current national strategy as the country continues in its quest to population immunity.
While the Ministry of Health and Wellness continues to register progress of its national COVID-19 vaccination campaign, challenges continue to abound. Vaccine hesitancy, myths and misconceptions, and the collection of data are just some of the challenges being faced. In the hope of eliminating some of these challenges, the Ministry of Health is seeking the assistance of mobile units. Julietta Frederick Cassius is the principal nursing officer.
Instead of persons coming to the centers, we are actually going to be bringing vaccines to persons. So this is where we have launching today our pop-up mobile clinics that will be visiting various sites that have been identified throughout the island. And the reason for doing that, of course, like Nurse indicated, we do have vaccines available. So we need to be able to get those vaccines into persons' arms.
On Wednesday, May 12th, St. Lucia received its second batch of 26,400 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine through the COVAX facility.
On Wednesday, the 12th of May, yesterday, St. Lucia receives its second installment of vaccines, of COVID-19 vaccines, from the COVAX facility. It's a batch of 26,400 doses. These vaccines, of course, will be used to further accelerate the campaign, reaching out to persons 18 years and older in the general population. We think this accelerated strategy is important as we aim to achieve population immunity.
Ms. Cassius says that therefore there is no shortage of COVID-19 vaccines and the campaign can go on.
We have identified high traffic to high commute spaces, such as the malls, the markets, bus terminals, where actually we'll be setting up and to be providing vaccines to persons. We know that persons sometimes may not necessarily have the time to actually visit a center, particularly as we are aware that quite a few persons are accessing those centers, and it may there may be a crowd and persons may not necessarily have the time to sit and wait for such long hours to be able to get vaccinated. So whilst you are doing your shopping, whilst you are running your various errands, also persons within those businesses would also have access. So we'll be actually targeting various groups when we do those pop-up and mobile clinics.
The mobile clinics will begin this coming Saturday, May 15th.
We also have collaborated, and we say thanks to the managing directors of these various spaces that we have identified on island. We have the JQ Rodney Bay Mall, we have the Latony Mall in Vrufort, we also have the Vrufort Plaza, the Rodney Bay Marina, the Castries City Council, and the Soufre Foundation. So all of these agencies, organizations, we have really partnered with them, and they have given us that kind of support that we need to be able to drive vaccination, COVID-19 vaccination, and make it as accessible as possible to the general population.
As of May 12th, 25,716 individuals have received their first dose, while 15,775 have received the second dose of their COVID-19 vaccines. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
United and Strong, an advocacy group for the LGBTQI community, is making its position clear on the alleged sexual misconduct scandal within the National Youth Council.
The LGBTQI community has come out to condemn the issue of sexual misconduct and a call for a thorough investigation into the allegations against an executive member of the St. Lucia National Youth Council. The board secretary of United and Strong, an advocacy group for LGBTQ rights in St. Lucia, Jessica St. Rose, says the community is appalled by such allegations and a robust investigation into the matter should take place to ensure the right punishments are meted out if needs be.
United and Strong became aware of the situation, and at United and Strong, we have a zero tolerance as it relates to sexual assault, sexual misconduct. And whilst the investigation, we do recognize that the investigation is happening, there's a process that has to be done, and we accept that. We accept that there is a process. However, we do also believe that during this investigation, if it is proved to be factual, that the appropriate action should be taken by the NYC and the state offices where the powers be. We are also mindful that the allegations can create a severe impact on the persons involved, the family, the friends, the students especially, and also the executive member of the NYC. The LGBT community has already been experiencing all sorts of backlash, discrimination, stigma, violence as well, and attacks. And we want to make it clear that we want to disassociate ourselves with any form of sexual misconduct, especially as it relates to pedophilia. However, I'm not saying that this is a matter of pedophilia happening right now. As we said, an investigation is happening.
The advocacy group notes the importance of a safety net for the victims due to the vulnerability of the persons involved as a result of their age and the nature of the information. St. Rose says, during such a vulnerable time for all those involved, caution should be taken.
We are asking the public and also the media, very important, to be aware of these things, because this is a very vulnerable moment, a very vulnerable time. The persons involved are in a vulnerable situation, a vulnerable stage right now, and just be mindful of the impact that this can create on their lives and also the people that are surrounding them. United and Strong supports the work of the National Youth Council. We have been working with them throughout the years, and we do extend the support to them in any way possible that we can support them as NGOs, as community organizations who do the work for communities, for the youth, and so forth. However, we stand in solidarity with the youth of St. Lucia, and hopefully that when the investigation, the process, a thorough process is done, whatever is given that comes out of the process, the investigation, if proven factual, that the right and appropriate actions will be taken.
The St. Lucia National Youth Council says the investigation into the matter is set to culminate on June 25th, 2021. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
You're watching the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. There's more news coming up after the break.